Welcome in, everybody. It's the Real Spill live show with your host, Roman Kelly, and your co-host, Trevor Kelsey. It's been a minute. I know we've lacked some consistency. I get it. I know that we've had the texters on the Thornton's text line on Mike's show texting and saying, "What's the deal with the Real Spill show? Where are you and Trevor at?" I will admit, majority of the recent lack of shows from us is my fault. I have been busy in the mornings. I've been doing some things. I've been doing Christmas shopping. I had some shifts at the studio I had to get to. It was a variety of things. And then not to mention, of course, I've been spending a little bit more time away from the house overnight and things of that nature. But Trevor, how are you? Talk to me. How have you been? It's been a minute. It feels good to be back on the airways with you.
We've got a lot. Good to see you, Roman. Yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a couple weeks since we got to hang out here in Kelsey Manor, and you and they're down in Chateau Kelly.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, you've been busy. I've been busy too. I watched Titanic this morning.
Yep.
So that takes a lot of time and almost like a full day's work.
That's a big watch because you might learn something new every time you watch it, or you might.
I did.
Game. Look, one thing I like about the Titanic. Before you go into this, one thing I like about the Titanic. Every time I watch it, I'm like, he's so sly. Some of those movements and ways he was just being such a,
You're talking about Jack.
Jack was so suave with what was her name?
Rose,
Jack and Rose. That's right.
Ooh, in hindsight, once you watch the movie more and more, you realize how selfish and kind of a bitch Rose is.
Yeah, Rose could have, she could have went with the vibes a little bit more, I felt like.
Billy Zane wasn't exactly, the catch of the century, but, he had his flaws for all they were. And, but she still, went messing around behind his back. And on top of that, she toys around, tells him this great story. And then, then just.
She was lying to him.
Yeah. And then throws his diamond in. I know everybody likes to point out the whole door thing of her being selfish, and that's true. And they've tried to bust that and shit. But like her throwing like a $2 million diamond. I mean, her granddaughter slugged you all the way across the country onto a boat. You're telling me that $2 million couldn't have gone a long way to your great grandchildren's future? I mean, what kind of selfish bitch does that?
Yeah, I didn't like that at all.
No, I was not a fan of that at all. But it did make me sad. Other than obviously everything she does that depresses me. I was watching it. I started thinking like, literally, and I know everybody likes to overuse that phrase, but I think I am when I say literally. There is no one left on this world alive that was breathing when the Titanic happened. Not just like at the Titanic. I think the last Titanic survivor, a baby, died years ago.
Yeah.
Like it was 113 years ago. April 15th, I believe, 1912. There's no one alive. It's just crazy to me. I feel old. You're still young. That's one of those things that makes me feel old and older because granted, I wasn't alive for the Titanic. I'm not that old. But, when I was, 10, 11 years old, it was only 70 years removed, 80 years removed. So you had a lot of people still alive when it happened. Now,
did you cry the first time you watched it?
No, I didn't. I did not cry the first time I watched it. No, I went and saw it.
All right, I did. I cried the first time I watched it. I'll admit it.
I will say this, and hopefully this isn't a spoiler for anyone else, but my favorite story about maybe Titanic didn't come until many, many years later when doing KRC with the great TJ Walker and Nick Roush. And Nick told us a story of how he got angry at someone in the movie theater line when he went to see that movie back in the 90s. 97 was when it came out. And someone said something about they got mad at him because he told them the ship sunk, and they got pissed and called him, said he ruined spoilers for him. And Nick was like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean you didn't spoil the ship sinks? What the hell?" He told that story. He tells it better than I can, but
I'll have to ask him about that.
97. That movie, you weren't even. That movie came out before you were born, right?
1 year before I was born.
Wow, that's crazy. And you've seen it, yeah? I saw it in theaters. And 3 times. I think that this is back when you'd go to movies. This is something you will never understand. No one, and even youngerness will ever understand. But that was a movie time when you would go not just once, but multiple times to a movie. I mean, I saw Independence Day a dozen times at least in the movie theaters. I only paid for maybe half of those, but I did see it at least a dozen times in theaters.
I can't think of one movie I've seen twice in theaters.
No, don't, because now you have it on streaming available on your big screen TV within 6 months anyway. I mean, there's no reason to even go to the theaters now. It's just I guess just if it's a special effects thing, but other than that, All right, that's enough pop culture talk now. The Titanic.
That is enough. We have a lot of UofL sports athletics to get to. We've got multiple different things I want to address, Trevor, and get your opinion on. I want to, because there's been 3 basketball games that have happened since we've talked. There's been a variety of different feelings and emotions, I guess you could say, as people who watch Louisville basketball and where you could be with the Louisville basketball team. I haven't gotten an update from you recently. So, Trevor, well, go ahead. You were.
No, I was going to say my bad. We're going to have to figure out the timing with the slight delay on here. Not a much of a delay, but we'll get it down there. We're crawling before we walk, people.
There is a bit of a delay, yeah, with the remote. Well, both of us going remote. It's just part of it sometimes. But
all right, we're going to get the groove down. It takes a while. As you learned with your recent girlfriend, you learn things with practice, and you
find a groove. Yeah, you can find a groove.
You find those Dodgers points.
That right rhythm, that correct rhythm you need. Yep, I know.
As Courtney Cox once said, 7, 7, 7. Okay. Louisville. Now it has been 3, maybe 4 games, I think, since we talked. It's been a while.
Yeah, I don't know if we even talked about the Ole Miss game or not.
It's been a rough run, obviously, due to a lot of things. Mostly, obviously, Pryor's injury, who we now know is gone for the year. We know Johnson's gone for the year. It's been a rough week. I know Pat Kelsey talked about in his press conference earlier this morning, that with this game coming up, no other time that we need a week off between Kentucky and now the Florida State game tomorrow than now. I mean, this has been this team obviously is with the injuries and just all happening right so quickly in the middle of the Oklahoma game, and then you had Ole Miss, which was probably the worst opponent we could have had in that situation going into the where we were in that seat, coming off the injury, coming off just playing 3 games in 3 days, and an Ole Miss team that just is so well coached by Chris Beard and that company. I love Chris Beard, but we'll get another day, another dollar on how much I love Chris Beard. And you saw in the UTEP game, sluggish, but get through it, get the win, beat a team you're supposed to beat. Maybe didn't beat them in a larger fashion that you want to beat them in, but you know what? When it's all said and done, it's still a W. And obviously, I want us to beat Kentucky. Clearly, as a Louisville fan, I have that hatred and rivalry, but it's just the fan of basketball and watching the game. I mean, it's clear you saw it. I think in the same way you saw the Ole Miss game, you saw in the Duke game too. I didn't mean to skip over, but love of God,
you're all good.
You've been so busy and there was so much to talk about. But I mean, it's something that's going to be, I think, an issue going forward. Hopefully not as much tomorrow, but after tomorrow and after Eastern Kentucky, we'll see is that this team's going to wear down a lot in games. I mean, with the loss of depth now with Pryor and Johnson gone, and Johnson being really the only viable backup point guard we had. I know they're hoping to get the other guard back. They keep thinking it's going to be sooner than later. I would think maybe the end of January, hopefully at best for me. But I mean, this is a team that's it's going to be rough, and you've seen the last couple of games where they've worn down, not just offensively. When in the second half we see the legs kind of go a little bit, but because of the way this team wants to play and how fast and up tempo and defensively this team wants to play, and they're giving it their all, and I love them for that. But there's going to be games this year where they're going to be worn down, and knock on wood, or the fake wood behind me, that there's no more injuries or major injuries to this team, because
you can't afford it.
No, you can't. And you look at the last couple of games, particularly, and where this team is, 3 of the last 4 games, we're giving up over 50% shooting, and a lot of that I think is to do with not just bad defense, but just again getting worn down. I think there are some defensive efficiencies that need to. I don't want to say can be addressed, but hopefully improved.
Yeah,
and guys like Waterman and Scott and Chucky can do only so much. The guy, I mean, can't guard 5 guys. I mean,
you're right.
He can guard 3, maybe shut down maybe 2, but you can only guard. You can't guard 5. I do like the move with Terrence Edwards coming off the bench. I love doing that.
Yep.
I joked on our very first show ever. I hinted about, talking about a guy like Earl Clark who just better was coming off the bench. He had to kind of see the game, maybe, meld out right away at tip-off. When I played in my younger days, very thinner younger days, I liked coming off the bench myself. It's kind of the same way. But so I think that's something Pat Kelsey has struck a good chord with, and I think that's going to work going forward. The promise is that the injuries this team is hit with Pryor and with Johnson, it's early enough that I think they can hopefully get over it and get into a groove. But tomorrow's going to be a big game because you've had this week off. Sorry about the dogs.
You're all good.
I got 3 dogs, people. You're going to hear them a lot. Trust me. With the week off, we look fresh. We'll talk about Florida State here a little later on in this, but we look fresh, we look good. We'll get another, I think we have a week off for Eastern Kentucky, and then it's in the groove where you're playing every 4 days, and that's where it's going to. We'll talk about that down the road. That's a long way to go, but
yeah,
it's. I worry that what we've seen this last week, you're going to see multiple times this season. I just don't want anybody jumping off the bridge because this isn't a team that we thought was going to be a Final Four team in the first place, but yeah, I am very positive. I'm still thinking this is a tournament team.
Okay, that was going to be a question I was going to get to once we wrapped up the basketball talk. I'm glad you said that. I want to dive into one thing you said though, where you talked about you hope that the defensive efficiencies can get a little bit better. All right, for you and knowing we've got this kind of a level of depth, right? What, like, is there anybody you've pinpointed out that needs to be better defensively?
Oh, Scott. No, hands down, no doubt about it. I don't want Waterman, and I only reason, and this isn't fair maybe to Scott, but because Waterman's a senior, and he's like 26 years old probably by now because he's from BYU, and the Mormons take like 5 years before they can start college anyway. He's the one that has like Waterman. I don't see he is what he is. I mean, I really can't expect him to be suddenly overnight become a better player defensively. Scott can improve that.
Yeah.
And I think particularly because of that and the fact that, we just need him. We're going to have to live with one of my dogs. I don't know if I should yell at Arya or Khaleesi. One of them's barking. I think it's Arya.
I like that name.
She kills the Night King, and now she thinks she's the queen of the fucking house. She can do whatever she wants.
She should.
But with Scott, one of my favorite movies, if you've never seen it with Denzel Washington, is Fences. Great movie, by the way. It's my second favorite, only to probably Training Day, or not Training Day, Glory.
I've heard of this movie. I've heard of Fences. I haven't seen it. I've heard it's a good movie.
Glory is my favorite Denzel. Next is Fences. Third is Training Day. It's based off of August Wilson play Pittsburgh. No, point being is, there's a phrase he makes in the movie that I think is perfect for what Louisville fans have to look at with Scott. His upgrade is you got to take the crookeds with the straights.
Yeah.
And right now, that's what we have to do with Scott. I would love to be able to use him wrong slowly, but with Pryor out, that's not an option now. And he's got to just be able to improve and give Louisville somewhat of a rim protector as well as just he just loves to fall asleep on back doors. And he needs to put on some muscle. That's going to come with time, but I like to think he's going to improve. I believe and hope that Coach Kelsey is. I feel like I'm talking in third person when I talk about Coach. When I say Coach Kelsey, I'm going to say PK or something. Not to have anything talking about third person. I love third person references, but nonetheless, Trevor will move on from that. With Waterman though, like I love Waterman as well. The only two things: one, defensively, again, I don't find there being much improvement coming from that. So again, take what
I will say this though. I will say this about Noah. Noah on the interior defense in the last 3 or 4 games, he's been good.
Since really even Indiana game, but it was hidden in that because we dominated him so much. He's been great on the boards. He's hustled. He's really kind of taken the prior glue man role. And taken upon himself. Now, the one thing he needs to improve on, and he can improve on. Again, I'm not asking him to become suddenly Dennis Rodman defensively, but he's got to start knocking down a lot more shots.
Yeah.
His inability to knock down shots is, if he can't do that, then you take his liabilities on defense, and I don't know if those two things can
I mean,
outweigh his hustle plays that he does. And if that's the case, but then again, I don't know. The thing is, we don't have no. It's like
just by him offering you the 12 points,
where
just
do we
in
go?
the Kentucky game, in the Kentucky game, just with Noah offering you the 12 points and the 3 made threes, you could see how needed it was. Granted, he missed two really big shots in that game. One that would have brought us within 2, and then one I think that would have also brought us within 2, just at a different point in the game. He's got to start hitting those shots. He's getting good looks. He's getting open them. He's getting them in transition. He's getting to step into his shots. Everything a shooter could want, Noah Waterman is getting in his 3-point attempts. So it's got to be better. 4 from 12 from the field just isn't good enough. 3 from 9 for 3 isn't. I mean, if you're going 3 from 9 for 3, I need you, knocking down all your free throws and shooting 65% inside when you take twos, right?
Waterman's not going to go to the free throw line. I mean, that's just a given.
In the beginning, we went a couple times in that Kentucky game.
He'll go to a few times. Waterman's go.
They call one on the floor, I think, but
he has he's taken smarter shots over the last 4 games. Because it's his percentage is kind of molded by I want to say it was at the Oklahoma game where he went like a 1 of 9 or something, a 1 of 7 3, and
yeah,
a lot of those were very forced shots and weren't very good looks. But nonetheless, even with taking good looks over the last month,
he was 0 for 5. He was 0 for 5 against Oklahoma. Yeah,
I can't remember which game. It's been atrocious and it's not been good. And he needs to. And I'm not asking to be Seth Curry, and I'm not trying to put all this on him because there's it is a team game and there's other things that other people need to step up to. But it's going to be a key down the stretch as the season goes along that he hits at least. He's shooting I think like 22%. He needs to get more around the 34-35%. I mean, if that's the case, and when he can do that, then I can overlook a little more defensively. But right now, again, with Pryor out. And you can't go with the law firm named guy from Syracuse or Baylor, where the hell we got him from, the other dude. I mean, clearly he's not an option.
Frank Anselmibe.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. He's not going to be. He's going to be gone for this year. Why even bother remembering it? You got to just go with Waterman and what we got with Scott. And like I said, Waterman hope we knock down a couple more shots, and Scott can start getting a little bit more his head in the game on defense, particularly.
What do you think this team needs to do in the ACC to make the tournament? If you have a number in mind, 15 wins, 14 wins.
Just Chucky Hepburn alone, the player he is, and he's an NBA player. There's no doubt in my mind he will play in the NBA. Now, he might not get drafted. He might just get in there on a 10-day contract or something. But once he gets in there as defensively, as good as he is, the way he is, and his size, at least at 6'2", offensively, for all his shortcomings, will be enough. He'll play in the NBA. That said, he's in college now, and he'll
get a shot. Yeah, I think he'll get a shot in the NBA.
With him and Edwards, those two alone put you in on the bubble of being a tournament team. Those two are good enough right there alone by themselves. And so that right there puts us at a bubble level. So we just you need Hadley, you need Waterman, you need Scott.
Kenai Bruce to step up. Yep.
Rain, you need.
Rain's got to get better. Rain's got to get better. I know that's almost feels like it's asking a lot.
Rain is what Rain is, though. I mean, he's not going to get better, dude. He's probably as old as you are.
He's got to make more shots, is what I mean.
Well, yeah, I'd like to hope so. He's a 5'10" white dude. What else would have him?
Yeah,
I mean, he's Teddy DePay. No nice reference there. No, I'm just saying. I know there's reason to be somewhat glim when you're coming off of 1-4 run or whatever Louisville's now coming off of, and don't turn around after you beat Indiana, you beat West Virginia, you run out of gas against Oklahoma, you got the prior injury happening, you get kind of mauled by Ole Miss a little bit, but again that's a bad matchup, bad time. Duke, you run out of gas against Duke and you run out of gas against UK in games where you played offensively good enough to probably win. But, when I say run out of gas, I don't just mean offensively. You saw it on defense as well.
Yeah,
again,
they lose their legs, yeah.
Both those teams shot in the high 500s against – Louisville's given up over 50% shooting in 3 of the last 4 games they played, UTEP being the only exception, but they still gave up like 47% in that game. Yeah. So, that's not that's not who Louisville is. I don't think that's who Louisville's going to be. It is when the season's all said and done. I just think it's just I mean, and we knew it. I mean, Coach Pat, talked about it in multiple interviews and, doing the car wash stuff all the way through going into the season. This was a murderer's row early in the season, and it's not going to get much better, but that's just that's the gauntlet we had to go through, and with the injuries happening right there at the same time, it just.
I do think that's one thing that's not
clean right there.
I do think that's one thing that a lot of fans aren't really. They were addressing it before the season started and at the beginning of the season and before the Tennessee game. Like, geez, we've never had a non-conference schedule like this. We've never had a beginning of the season like this. And they're right.
Yeah. Well,
we've never seen
conference, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think that it's starting to get lost a little bit, though, that we just played against, we've played against 8 tournament teams already or 7 tournament teams already or something like that. That's, a couple teams who are undefeated. That's not easy to do at the beginning of the season. This was a team that wasn't going to be as good as a lot of these teams, but to get to see what we are stacked up against some of those teams and to know, even with our lack of depth and our injuries now, that we can play with these teams. We outscored Oklahoma in the second half without Case and Pryor. We've gotten to see the spurts against against Duke and the spurts against Kentucky, where I'm like, okay, we can get up and down with this team. I don't feel like there's anybody we couldn't play with, right? We're defending at a high level. When the shots are going in and we are taking good shots, it looks like we can play with anybody. I've liked that we've gotten to see that at the beginning of this season and against the schedule that we've had, to know that we, a couple of the games haven't looked great. I get that Ole Miss didn't look good and Tennessee was the beginning of the season, but to know we can play with some of these teams when things are going right, that's been a big plus for me when I recap what we've seen so far out of Louisville basketball.
But I think when it's all said and done, the smoke clears, I still think we're a tournament team. I don't think we're going to make a serious kind of run a tournament, but I think we're still, I still like to think of us as a maybe 8-9 rank area. I don't say, again, like I said, just with what Edwards, and especially with him coming off the bench and him being more aggressive and being kind of playing more like he did last year instead of settling so much with the jump shot, and Chucky just being again, Gar such a great coach, but dude, that's just criminal how much he held this kid back offensively. He's a guy that's going to give you 17 minimum points probably a night. Now I know he can do more. He's
creative, he's crafty.
He tries so hard offensively and on defense.
It's too much. He needs help. He needs help.
I don't want us to be going into February and he's just breaking down. But again, a lot to talk before we get into the Florida State talk. It's last week's been rough, but it's just kind of like me being the pervert I am, the analogy that I'll use. It's like we went through the gauntlet of the whorehouse, and we didn't come out with AIDS, but we kind of came out with it's burning a little bit when we pee, and so it wasn't the best of week, but we will make it through and we'll survive.
It is burning when we pee. We need to go get an antibiotic and fix some things a little bit and find what works.
We might need a little bit of penicillin. Thank you, Canada, for that.
You're right. You're completely right, though. That's not an incorrect analogy. This Louisville basketball team, it's gotten this big. I think we've already been put through the ringer. I think we've already been put through the test of difficulty. I don't think there is another team we will face this season that is better than a team we've already seen. Whether that's UK, Duke, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, we're not playing anybody that's as good as any of these teams so far we've seen. So that's a positive.
That is true, but I would like to think we can change the result of some of those opponents we've already played when we play them coming up, i.e. North Carolina's and so forth. I'd like to get a win maybe on one of these, But
yes, definitely. I don't want to just not feel like we're going to be able to beat teams of that caliber whenever we play them at all. You're completely right. UNC, dare I say, is a must-win game.
Well, this team's going to lose a game they're not supposed to at some point. I know.
Yeah, of course. Just the offensive play style. I think it already has.
People are going to get upset.
I feel like it already has a couple times, and it's definitely going to happen again. I think we will get blown out by a team that we shouldn't even lose to. I think we will blow out a team that we thought was going to be a close game. There's going to be both on both sides. So, before we get into Florida State, Trev, I want to sidetrack here. I want to get into some other things. You're a football guy through and through, just like not just like me, but just like some of the people in this industry. You've been following the Louisville,
by the way, in the NFL.
All right, dude. That's not what this is about. It's not what I was trying to bring up, Trev. It's not what I was trying to bring up. We get it. We get the Fly Eagles 2-2 and won 10 straight from that point on. Okay, cool. Big whoop. You got the best running back in the league. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, tell Mike we're coming up that number 1 spot in Detroit. Yeah,
I do love Saquon though. He's just.
I don't think the Eagles are going to get it, but I think they'll end up having the Lions will probably end up clinching it. But right now, we're coming for it.
They are coming for it. But what we are addressing here is the Louisville football team. Jeff Brohm, Brady Brohm, they've been at it. They've been up to their tricks, their usual tricks up in this transfer portal. They've been making moves. They've been making changes. They've been watching some guys leave and go into the transfer portal as well. No really big shockers. We actually got a few names we could address if you want. Some names that we pretty much, I don't think anyone was in the portal the last time we were on, and now there's a lot of people in the portal.
But shout out to, I don't want to get pre-publicity. I'm trying not to show my witch cup over here.
Is that B-dubs?
Yeah, got me my witch cup over here. But I can give them free publicity. I need to put some tape on it or something, maybe.
No free publicity. If you want to give us a sponsorship, hit us up. We like gift cards and things of that nature. So
yeah, I like the sub on air.
Trevor, talk to me. Miller Moss is a Louisville Cardinal. Miller Moss, the quarterback from USC, the quarterback who has beaten Louisville in a ball game. He even threw the L's down after his successes against Louisville in the ball game.
At the volleyball game, right?
He did. He came in with mom and sister. See, I don't know if you've heard. There's been lots of word on those two.
You're bringing up football and you're bringing up Jeff. And just the thought of Jeff and talking about the football team, that's kind of like orgasmic for me. So, hold on.
Got to get your cigarette lit up. I get it. But yes,
I feel like when you bring up Jeff, it's like I just had sex on. I got to smoke a cigarette afterwards.
Okay. I like that.
I've had in 8 months.
So you're feeling good about what Jeff Brohm and Brady Brohm have been in.
Now I say that, and I'm going to play Jekyll to my own hide here. This is one of my favorite people I used to work with. He used to say, no one plays devil advocate better than you, Trevor, and I do. I love to play devil's advocate. Vanity is just not my favorite sin, as Al Pacino once said.
Well, let's hear it. Be the devil on my shoulder, Trevor. Be the devil on my shoulder.
Now, yes, first of all the people left. Yeah, not really a surprise. I'm assuming Harrison Bailey will be the starting quarterback.
He's on number 1 on the depth chart as of yesterday.
Say what?
He's number 1 on the depth chart for the bowl game as of yesterday.
I think he's the only one on the depth chart as of maybe yesterday.
Well, they've got Deuce Adams as well. They've still got Deuce on the roster.
Yeah, I thought he was going to redshirt, but yeah.
Good old number 13, Deuce.
And then there's a kid from Trinity, right? I mean, we had like 7 kids. Can we just go back and
look at some walk-ons? Yeah, I think there's some walk-on kids as well. I don't know how many of them actually suit up and put pads on, but
people laughed at Jeff for having like 8 quarterbacks on the roster, but now who's laughing now, right?
We got one that can play.
We're the only ones with a team with a quarterback now, people. Yeah, I got to go back and look at like the EKU game footage and see like what the kid walk on from Trinity or whatever you said his name. He's going to play. Yeah, but here's the thing with the guys that have gone, again, no shock. I mean, Pierce Clarkson, you mentioned, Allen, the other quarterback, I know.
Donald Chaney's in the portal. Keywan Brown's in the portal.
He's even playing here all through the season. Maurice Turner. I mean, everybody. No, there hasn't been really,
Turner, yeah. Mason Reiger was one that I felt was a shock. And there's a reason why I felt this, and I haven't expressed this out loud to anybody other than shout out to producer Keith over at the Pink Seats podcast in the state of Louisville. I've said this to him. There's something fishy going on with the medical unit with the Louisville football team. There is something fishy going on with the medical team for the UofL football program. I don't want to point any fingers. I don't want to make any rash statements, but I'm smelling something fishy going on with the doctors and the medical staff with the Louisville football program, because there's been a variety of different players and names. I'm not going to say anything yet. I need to do more research. Next episode, I will have my bullet points in my notes pinpointed out on what I'm talking about. But there's just been the Colin Lacey injury at the beginning, the Colin Lacey injury and how quickly he came back and how it was way before we thought, and the Donald Chaney ankle and how he was playing anyway. There's just been a couple of different weird things going on. This is another one of those things. I don't want to say anything rash, but I'm questioning the medical staff for the Louisville football program, Trevor.
Well, John Walsh, when you get finished unraveling that unsolved mystery, which, by the way, why was it unsolved mysteries? Are all mysteries unsolved? This seems like an oxymoron title, but anyway,
that is.
When you get finished solving that, I kind of agree with you for a different reason. Not mine is a conspiracy laced to that thread, but the Rager was the one that surprised me, but only because, I mean, how many fucking years of eligibility does this kid got left? I thought he was a senior like 2 years ago.
He wants to play, and I think he wanted to play for Louisville next season. I think he wanted to play for Louisville this season, and they didn't let him. And because they said, we still don't think you're ready, he said, all right, I'm gone. And he's going to play for somebody whoever gives him the most money and clears him to play is who he's going to play for next year. So
I know he will always, I don't know, just for me, will always live in lore of the guy publicly pointed out as a walk-on, just pancaking Joe Alt, the future first-round pick for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and just pummeling him on national television. Not once, but twice.
He had a huge game that game. Exactly.
Yeah, he just picked up Joe Alt and just like threw him. That was the moment where, no disrespect to Rager and his abilities, I was like, dude, if the Eagles take Joe Alt, we're fucked. Like, I don't want this kid. I poorly, and he's with Carolina, I believe.
No, he's the Chargers. He's out there with Herbert.
Chargers, that's right. Yeah, you're right. So he's not playing that poorly, obviously, but that's took last year in the first round of the left tackle Webster, out of Northwestern. So yeah, but nonetheless, yeah, that was the one that surprised me. But that reason was I didn't know he had eligibility left. Everyone else, I mean, you Callaway, skill position guys, James Thompson, yada yada. No one knows.
That surprised me. Yeah.
But
Riger surprised me a little bit, and I think it surprised me because I thought we'd be ready. I don't know the reason. I'm speculating right now. I feel as if Mason Riger,
he's going to Wisconsin, I believe, right?
I don't know. Did he already commit?
I thought maybe I overlooked it. I was looking at the other day, and it's keeping up the transfer portal is so hard, but especially if you're trying to do it from a national perspective, God help those people. But yeah, I thought I saw Wisconsin. Maybe I was looking at somebody else. But
I don't know. I need to look that up and see. I shouldn't be talking about it to that extent without knowing that. But I feel like it's just weird that he wouldn't have wanted to come back. I feel like he would have been a very valuable part of this defense, and they would have been needed him. He would have been loved, even more so for the potential we felt like he was going to bring as a very important piece of the defense. And he's in the portal. That one surprised me a little bit, and I think there's something medically based with that reasoning there. And I'm speculating on something fishy going on. I'm speculating, Trevor. I'm sorry. I like to speculate occasionally when I feel like there's something going on that's a little weird.
Oh, hey, listen, I'm all one for a conspiracy theory. To this day, I will die on the hill that, the NBA screwed the Pacers out of the 1990 NBA Finals because of TV ratings. I know it for a fact.
I believe it.
But with the transfer portal, back to little football a little bit, God help us if I'm the one getting us on track. Is that like with going out again? Yes, no real shock, Rager, everything aside. Coming in, I know they just, I think, got the safety out of Florida International or something, FIU, I believe. Yeah, they're going to add some pieces, guys. I'll be honest with you. Listen, I don't know who they are. Short of just seeing what their ratings are on the college football game and going looking that up, and I don't. This is where I trust Jeff and his ability to find guys, and in that sort. So, but with quarterback, obviously, when you talk about quarterback, it's a horse of a different color. Everybody's a armchair quarterback, so to speak. And with Moss, I want to get excited. I want to get pumped. And I believe in Jeff, so I'm getting pumped because of that. I believe Tyler Shuck, this guy, kind of written off with injuries, was probably maybe one of the best steals of the transfer portal.
He got the best out of Plummer.
He got the best out of Plummer. He's done a good job so far. He's 2 for 2 in that manner. But with Moss, what just kind of worried me was because when he first entered the portal, I had some friends, reach out, hey, usual talk, do you think you're going to get Moss? Honestly, at the first time, I said no. I said I don't think we'll be able to afford him. It was going to be in that Cam Ward area or Ryan Leonard, where he's going to probably go somewhere that's going to pay him a little more money. And, we're on a tighter budget, than A or B, B, and we're C or D. Not that we can't, pull out the red carpet. But, and when he originally kind of committed to us, instantly I got excited. Then I saw it was just like us in Missouri only. And that's when I got worried a little bit. That's when I'm like, why isn't
nobody else is interested?
Yeah. Should I be
was
worried
a little
about
weird.
that? Should that be worrying me that, he's not getting reached out by your more blue bloods, where your Oklahoma goes out and gets, Heater, whatever his name is, out of Washington State right away, or Colorado initially went out and got Salter out of Liberty to compete there with their big prospect coming in. I don't know, kind of because on paper, you see it's a 5-star kid. USC.
Hold on, Trev.
Oh, he did against us, yeah.
Hold on, Trevor. You got like some wires moving or something? Did you move some wires around? I heard some staticky noise.
I hope not. Maybe my phone went off or something.
No, it's like you started moving around on your speaker or something. It got real staticky in my ears. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Maybe I hit something. I don't know. I do move around a lot, which is shocking to think when you look at me if I moved at all. But I do sway from right to left. I just don't move, lower body. Be perfect for a wheelchair, I guess. Or a rascal in the future. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Every time you talk, there's like a little bit of it sounds like a sizzle. Sounds like a little tiny automated sizzle in the background or something.
Are you saying that I'm laying hot takes?
No, I'm not trying to say that. It's like it's weird. Somebody I'm sure they'll chat. The chat will let us know. Chat, if you're in the chat and you heard that, if you heard anything, let us know in the chat down below. I just want to be sure.
To make a long story short, I there's all sorts of reasons to be positive for Moss. Again, we saw him shred us, and I know he didn't put up the great. I mean, his numbers weren't bad last year to start USC, but USC was kind of a hot mess anyway. I mean, they finished barely 500. Lincoln Riley is kind of, to me is still a little jury on since he left Oklahoma. I mean, you can argue a lot of those in favor of Moss again, because of Riley and their underachievements in the season at USC overall and going into the Big Ten, but it worried me when I saw the lack of competition for him with us. And we did get him right away, but it did worry me a little bit. But you know what? I'm going to take those worries. I'm going to put them in a little box, and I'm going to put that box on the shelf because, again, I trust Jeff. That's how much confidence I have in Jeff and his ability and Brady and company. It looks like a little sizzle in there, but that's where I am with that. Hopefully, and everybody else coming in again. All I can do is look up on the game and see where they're rated at. I did see Colin Lacey's going to play in the bowl game, which is interesting.
He's coming back.
One of the few times we got somebody coming back to play in the bowl, opposed to leaving and not playing in the bowl.
Yeah, that's the one cool thing about the bowl game not impacting your eligibility or your red shirt or anything like that. I do like that, and I think this is a good sign. Him coming back and playing in this game is a good sign for next year. I do believe he wants to be here next season now. I do know that nothing's certain, and he could go to the portal in a month or something if he wanted to. But him coming back to play in this game, him basically showing the reasons he did take his red shirt, dude seemed to be, I hate to say truthful, but genuine. And like he actually did want to just have one more year of eligibility, get to play one more year of college football, make some money, and actually go make a name, even more of a name for himself, rather than it wasn't working out at Louisville. Someone's going to go give me even more money next year, and I'll just go have one last year of cashing out on a college football team. I think he's genuinely betting on himself, wants one more year, wants to stay in Louisville, wants an offense kind of sit around, him being the vocal point of a potential passing offense. If he stays, there's a better chance of that. So I like this.
I tell you what, if he is going to play next year, and he's saying he's going to be here next year playing. Honestly, like the way this is kind of in the end when it's all said and done, it's kind of like what you do in a video game where you have depth and you got a guy's a senior. You got like 3 seniors on your team and like 2 of them have redshirted, and so you redshirt the third one, and because you're not going to use him that much in that season, but he's going to be more important the next season. As is on a depleted, kind of depleted wide receiver core. That being said, I mean, Lacey hopefully is for all said and purposes an impact guy. I mean, you put him on this team this year. I mean, does Louisville win it? Did he change the point where Louisville wins a game?
No, I don't. Well, if he would have gotten to play every game, I think there's a couple games where even as a third option
point in a game where like we needed him to impact. My point is, if maybe I'd like to think maybe not. It is, but in the end, he's going to make more of an impact next year as a number one guy on a roster where we're not, we've got all kinds of new faces, including not just the upperclassmen that we would be losing in Jaden Thompson and Callaway.
Yeah. You guys. There's been talk that Chris Bell might go. He's playing he's going to be playing in the bowl. He's on the bowl game depth chart, but there's been talk that he's asking maybe potentially too much money than Louisville might want to pay him.
I mean, McLean's gone. We get Chris Hughes back, but I mean, McLean coming back, Lacey coming back next year, he would have impacted this team offensively this year, obviously and clearly. I just don't wonder, what game would he have changed the factor, they didn't play in maybe. I'm just trying to show a little positivity, I guess.
Yeah, you're right. No, I get it. But at the end of the day, we're going to be I don't want to say run heavy, but this is going to be an offense with two featured backs that get a lot of carries each. And if we're going to be a run heavy team until we get a matchup that doesn't allow for it to be.
Who's going to run the ball in the bowl game? I mean, we're not going. I assume we're not going to use Isaac Brown that much. Maybe I guess Duke Watson a little bit, but what are the running backs we have left? Because Taylor.
No, I mean going into next season. If Lacey does hypothetically come back, they're the only two backs on the depth chart. So I don't think we're going to run the ball much at all. You don't want them getting hurt. You don't want them getting overworked in a game that, dare I say, has no meaning.
I feel like Dwayne Martin might set a record for carries in a game.
That's why I say you go out there and throw in any of the young guys you've got. Let them go out there and have some fun. Anybody that is planning to be here next year needs a couple snaps in this game, I believe. That's just my opinion on pointless bowl games where.
I mean, they're pointless to a degree, but there's going to be some fun to them now because the change in with everything, you can always find some. Again, in the past, you just say, you get a glimpse of the next season, and you get the young guys.
There's too much turnover. There's not enough roster. There's not enough roster carryover to even.
Hold on, or you get the senior. Now you're going to get at least with the bowl games. You're going to get at least a look at some of the young guys. And this, for anything, this is a great chance for some freshmen. Or not maybe some freshmen that probably redshirted, but sophomores and maybe some of the underclassmen. To get a chance to get out there and show that, hey, maybe next year we belong in the rotation, or we get more of a. It's a good chance, I think, for some guys to get a chance to shine. We might not get anything out of it, but fuck, dude, you never know.
You're right. You never know. You do never know. That is the one aspect. You never know who's going to go out there and show you something you've never seen out of them before. Or you're going to see a player you've never seen out of before. Who
we play? We're watching.
Right? Yeah, you go out there and have Katerius Hicks go out there and have 150 yards on 3 catches. That'd be insane. You just never know. All 3 passes coming from Deuce Adams. You just never know. I'm just kidding, but it'll be.
We play Washington right now. It's a Sun Bowl, right?
Yeah. So
we going.
It'll be interesting.
I mean, can you think of a better way to spend New Year's Eve than El Paso?
If I can get some, I might need to start a GoFundMe. Like if the fans want a 4 Loko shotgun for this game, get me out there. Fly me out to this game. I'll shotgun 2 of them if you guys get me out there.
I mean, think about this. El Paso is like a stone throw from the border, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it is. I mean, it's literally it's like if you stumble too far out of your front door, you're going to end up in Mexico. I mean, so you, me, New Year's Eve, celebrating the Sun Bowl, little trip across the border, maybe.
I'm down. I've heard you can go have some fun down in Mexico for cheap.
Good. That's the kind of fun I like.
So let's go have some fun. But yes, that would be an amazing way to go spend your New Year's Eve. Kudos to all the fans going out there and making that trip, and more so, congrats for having the money to be able to go make that kind of trip on your New Year's. I wish I could do something like that. I don't have.
I think the most famous person ever out of El Paso is probably wrestler Eddie Guerrero.
No.
Can you name anybody from El Paso?
No.
Now, don't say. I know somebody might be in the listening and go, What about Tim Hardaway? Now, he played at El Paso, UTEP, to be more exact. But so did Aaron Jones, running back for the Vikings, also played at UTEP. I mean, I think Debbie Reynolds maybe from El Paso.
Debbie Reynolds, Irene Ryan.
Debbie Reynolds is pretty famous. I don't know if you know who Debbie Reynolds is, but that's I don't know. Yeah, she's probably above Eddie Guerrero, but Eddie Guerrero's up there.
Vicky Guerrero.
That's Eddie Guerrero's widow.
I mean, Eddie Guerrero. I've heard of the name Debbie Reynolds before. I don't think there's another name on here that I've really seen. Hold on. Nate Archibald.
Well, I believe Nate Archibald played at UTEP. I don't think he's from El Paso. He did play for UTEP though.
Yeah, he's just an alumni, I think. I don't know any of these people.
See, that's when you know you're a small town, when you start claiming alumni of the university in your town.
Sam Donaldson.
I don't know. I don't think. You sure he's from there, or do you go to UTEP?
I don't know.
Well, that's our UTEP talk. If anybody from El Paso is offended by this, suck it.
Celebrities born in El Paso, Texas: Eddie Guerrero, Nalia Devora. There's a lot of young people. Sin Cara.
Sin Cara is a very luchador, very famous luchador. Again, Mexican wrestling, very famous, very popular in El Paso, i.e., the Guerrero family. Of course, Chavo Guerrero Jr. as well. Chavo Sr.
Chavo. Gunplay.
All right, that's
Gunplay
enough.
From El Paso.
We can also, if you want, we can bring up UTEP and talk about Tim Hardaway and the UTEP two-step and that company. Texas Western.
Do you know how to UTEP? Do you know how to two-step? UTEP two-step?
The UTEP two-step. That's the Tim Hardaway move.
Can you show it to me?
No, I cannot.
I'm just kidding. I know it. I know it.
Breaking a hip.
I know the Hardaway two-step for sure. I will say I only learned about it actually how he did the move a couple years ago. I didn't really. I saw a breakdown of it, but Trevor,
a little before your time with the Run TMC, Tim Hardaway, Mitch Richmond, and Chris Mullen.
It was, yes, but that was good hoops.
Yeah. Mitch Richmond, a JUCO, went to Kansas State.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was a JUCO.
Trevor, I want to ask you something. Were you able to watch the Louisville volleyball performance last night against #1 Pitt to secure their spot in the NCAA National Championship volleyball match?
Of course I did, and I enjoyed every minute of it.
I was able to go. Your boy was in the house.
Wow, that's nice.
Shout out to Feck Wrong King Kong. Shout out to Feck PK. I call her PK. Shout out to PK on the team. Number 10. Kong. She gave me some tickets to sit up super up close. There's actually some people in my seats. I was in like the 4th row up from the floor, and the row was completely full. And then right in front of that, in the 3rd row up, there was like 10 seats in a row, not open. I mean, completely open. So I sat down, and I didn't have anybody within 2 seats to me on either side the entire game. Well, not the entire game. I did have to leave early because your boy does work for a radio station, and I had to go monitor the Pacers radio broadcast. So I had to get out of there a little bit early, but I was able to go feel the electricity and feel the energy in there. And they lost that first set, Trev, and they won 3 straight.
Yeah, I can't. Don't expect technical talk when it comes to volleyball from me. I don't know it.
But just the fact, like the excitement, the energy, the seriousness of a 1 point. You do know the intensity of 1 point in volleyball, and well, you got to win by 2 and stuff like that.
I do remember that, yes, and I know there's a setter and there's an alley-ooper and there's a spiker and there's a blocker and there's a one girl wears a different color shirt. I remember Mike told me for some reason why, but I don't remember now. Again,
I think she's the spotter. Does the spotter wear a different colored shirt?
Thought that was a different term when we talk about women, but nonetheless. So when it comes to like volleyball over the last, I mean, just first of all, strides in popularity in women's volleyball. I guess we shouldn't say women's because there's really no men's volleyball anyway, but volleyball in general.
Setter, hitter. There's a setter. Okay, there's a libero. I don't think I've heard that. Libero, setter.
I think it's pronounced De Beer.
That is probably what it is pronounced. What are the 6 volleyball positions? Outside hitter, opposite hitter, setter, middle blocker, libero, defensive specialist, and serving specialist. So there is I said a spotter. It's a setter. Yeah. But yes, it was electric. It was electric. When they won that second set, I was in there. They had to come back. They took the lead, and they won the second set, and the crowd never let up from there. Not even a little bit. But the beer,
the great atmosphere. I'm jealous you got to be there. No one invited me. I mean,
Kara Cressy, I think is her name, which is I believe is Ashton Gelati's either like girlfriend or fiance. So Ashton Gelati was in there with a couple other players, and they were super rowdy, and like the family ticketed, like all those people got tickets from players on the team. Usually, I think I saw PK's family right over there, like kind of in the same row I was supposed to be in. Kara Cressy, I don't know if her first name's Kara or not, but Cressy, last name's Cressy. She's the other tall blocker, like Kong. I don't know what number she is. She had a crazy number of kills in that second, third, and fourth set. And she just was all-time performance for her. Anna DeBeer gets hurt. Anna got hurt, had to go out. I forgot the girl that Peterson. Miss Peterson comes in. She, pretty much offers the same productivity that De Beer offers you. Not really. Nobody's really going to give you what De Beer gives you, but she was able to come in, and the Cards were able to get the job done. Shout out to them. They beat Pitt. Were they 0-3 in their last 3 matchups against Pitt?
I don't believe so. I mean, Pitt's been a thorn in their side, I know, over the last few years in the short time that I've been following volleyball, which has been about 3 years now. And watching, or at least watching and somewhat following what Louisville's done and Brohm Kelly and the awesome job she's built and the dynasty in the short term she's built. But I know Pitt's been one of their biggest rivals. I think they beat them twice this year, but I don't know if they beat them 3 times. Though I know they only had like 1 loss anyway going into this match, I believe.
Yeah, they were 33-1. I want to say.
No, again, I can't listen. Here's the thing: it's exciting. It's fun to watch. It's fast paced. It gets the heart going.
Yeah, they're super athletic.
I don't understand all the rules. I do know this. Every year I watch it, I kind of feel more creepier. Like just because these are some beautiful athletic women, man, and they're like 17. And I'm like at this point I'm in my 40s, and I'm like, listen, I enjoy watching this. Man. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, Anna, if you don't know how beautiful you are, it's true. I mean, it's
at this level, there's a lot more seniors than like true freshmen and stuff. But it does feel weird. Like not feel weird. It doesn't feel. Nothing feels weird. But it's like, geez, these are fresh young adults out there, playing high level athletic.
I feel kind of creepy as an old dude. I mean, I'm not. I know. Listen, I'm a little.
Well, that means you're having creepy thoughts about them when you're watching them, Trevor.
Except when we played Wisconsin that one year, them girls were scary. Like there was no thoughts about them. I mean, one of them looked like me, and in fact, it could have been like a cousin or something. So I mean, she had more hair in her arm than I do. It's like, so aside from them, I don't know. But again, joking aside, they are hot. It's I do feel creepy watching it sometimes, but I also enjoy watching it, and not just for that reason. Is it because it is fun? It's like even I know I don't understand the terminology and I understand what they're really doing. I know how you score and I can follow the score and I can follow it. It's just fun to watch. So fast paced.
Yeah,
and it's so much fun watching Louisville be good at doing it and hoping that they're going to win. The first championship outside of the basketball team to win a championship. And I kind of wanted. I joked with Mike about this thing. After they beat. And won the regional final, I joked and said, now we're going to beat Pittsburgh, and then we're going to, exercise all the demons, and we're going to finish the story. Like we're booking a wrestling story here, Pittsburgh, and then we're going to beat Nebraska in Louisville in the Yum Center. Brohm Kelly and her ties with Nebraska, obviously. It's going to be perfect, to be poetic, but obviously Penn State's kind of ruined that story a little bit, but Penn State's got like 7 national championships in the sport, and a sport that only goes back to 1981 in terms of NCAA records. So
yeah, they're a blue blood in the sport for sure.
year, but they've been a dominant team, and it's going to be, beating them still is going to be fun, and hopefully they can do it. And it's going to be it's so much fun.
Yeah, it'd be huge, and to be able to do this in the Center and on your not home floor necessarily, but in your home city with your home fans, right down the street from your home floor, will be very big and huge for the Louisville volleyball program. Who is, if they can they've been ascending into blue blood territory in the volleyball program, but to get to the final and to win one, I think this would be the second final though. But to get a win would be, to get a win in the final would pretty much establish you into that new blue blood category as a team that's been in the Final Four expectation for now some years now. And it's huge. I'm excited for it. I can't wait to see it. And shout out to Kelly Westman Kelly for
the Eagles are playing the Redskins or Washington, whatever, on Sunday at 1:00. At 3:00, the game's gonna be in the fourth quarter. It's going to the secondary television, and that game's going on the main television at 3:00.
Yes.
I won't be there, but I'll be watching. I'm going to get into it. And I can't wait. Anytime Louisville sports, a secondary sport, and when I say secondary, obviously it's anything but basketball, football, is having success, baseball, whatever, soccer.
It's exciting.
It's exciting. You want to get into it. And, again, volleyball, whether you know it, I mean, for a long time, me growing up, volleyball was a sport like the dorks played when, and got in our way when we were playing basketball at gym. Get away from me. That's until outside of the movie Side Out, and I knew nothing about volleyball, until 4 or 5 years ago, and I still don't know that much about volleyball. But I enjoy watching it, and it's fun to watch. It's entertaining, and when we're winning, it's even better.
Yes, it is. You just mentioned though, Louisville sports being exciting no matter what the sport is when they're doing well. Excuse me. I do want to sidetrack before we get into this quick little FSU talk before we get out of here. Anything this weekend you're looking forward to watching non-UofL related? Is there any NFL games you're outside of the Eagles game? Any matchups you're looking forward to? Steelers, Ravens, anything you care about?
I'll tell you right now, there's a full slate of entertainment going on in the Kelsey Manor this weekend. Tonight we've got first of all, tonight we got Indiana and Notre Dame.
Yeah.
College bracket, which listen, I've never had it ill towards Indiana. They're not Kentucky. I don't have a regional hatred towards them like I would, but or Cincinnati or Memphis. I'm rooting for Indiana, man. I'm on the Indiana bandwagon with this. I'm having fun. I'm students enjoying it. I've got friends that went to other friends that went to IU that I know they're having a ball. I'm looking forward to that and watching that game and hopefully going there. I hate fuck Notre Dame. I love Rudy, but fuck Notre Dame. So that, and then of course you got the 3 games on Saturday. You got football on Saturday, Lamar on Saturday. You got football on Sunday. You got volleyball on Sunday. You got a season finale Shrinking coming out. It's going to be great.
It is. Trevor, we're having some technical difficulties here with your microphone. It's like the unplug your microphone and plug it back into your laptop real fast. And then
check.
That's much better. Oh my gosh, much better. Okay.
I unplugged my mic. I just won't use my mic. Does it sound okay without my mic?
It sounds like you're not. It sounds yes. It sounds good. It sounds crispy. It sounds like you're not using a mic, but it is very crispy. Plug it back in and see what it does, because I just think
it's crispy.
Had like crispy is good.
Check.
Is that the microphone? Yeah. Now you sound normal again.
I don't know what that was.
It was like you unplugged it just a little bit out of the computer and it was still registering it and trying to let you talk and stuff, but it wasn't.
It is. I'll be honest with you. It does feel a little loose, like a hot dog in a hallway, a little bit with the plug. So
yeah, it made it sound off, which you're using. Yeah, it doesn't let you hear that. It only lets me and the listeners hear.
First of all, the person that wrote my microphone equals fried. No, that's just me. I'm the one that's fried, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'll throw you a like.
And it's, not only
Shout
that,
out
like
to Tanner.
They're sliding in movies to watch. Movie-wise, that's come out. I guess the last new movie to come out would be the Deadpool movie. I watched it. I wasn't impressed. The first 2 were better.
I watched Carry On Netflix 2 nights ago. It was all right. It was very exhilarating, but the ending just wasn't good enough for me. You're not into shows much, are you? I've got 3 shows for you to watch. I've got 3 good shows that I'd like to
got for me.
The Penguin.
I have looked. The Penguin is on my. I guess you saw my. They used to call it the queue. I guess it's on there.
The queue.
I was waiting for the full season to finish to start. I am not one to like to wait week to week, and I love to.
Yeah, it's done. They finished the first season. I'd give it a watch if you find some time. Another one is Black Doves.
Hold on, I have a friend that's a big Marvel guy, and he knows my taste, and he knows I love the first Netflix season of Daredevil and the first Netflix season of Jessica Jones. What about stuff?
Green Arrow? Have you heard of that?
I know Green Arrow. I guess it's a character I could care less about, though.
I don't like the character much. I didn't know anything about the character, but I loved that show, the way they wrote the story about it. But Black Doves, The Penguin, and then Lupin. Lupin is in French. I personally can't watch a show, like if it's supposed to be in a different language and they're using the same scenes and the voices don't match the words or the lips don't match the words I'm hearing, I can't do that. So I watch it in French with the captions on it. It's much better in my opinion if you do that. If you can handle French, Lupin is a great show as well. But
I can't do captions. If I wanted to read, I did a book.
Oh, I see. So you can't do the different language shows then?
No, especially because also with different language, I can't just sit there and read it because more often than not, I'm watching something while I'm playing video game as well. I like to multitask.
Yeah.
No
huge matchups this weekend in college basketball, really either. Kentucky plays Ohio State. Purdue plays Auburn, that's the only ranked top 25 matchup, I believe. UConn plays Butler. I wouldn't be surprised if Butler played UConn a little closer than people are going to imagine. Marquette's going to Xavier. I might play Xavier on an upset there, just a little sprinkle potentially. Florida is 11-0 with North Florida coming to town. I'm sure they're going to do them in. Oregon plays Stanford. Yeah, there's not a lot going on this weekend, Trev. Cincinnati plays Dayton tomorrow, though.
Ground ball wise, other than Louisville and Kentucky, but football wise, I said, the Pigskin's going to be flying all weekend. We got a full. The football games are dwindling. They're few and far between, which is very sad.
This is it. This is the last one. We've got SMU and Penn State at 12 o'clock, Clemson and Texas at 4 o'clock, and then Tennessee at Ohio State at 8 o'clock. Those are the Saturday games. Tonight, as I'm sure you all know, like we mentioned earlier, Indiana and Notre Dame at 8 p.m. But at 3:30, Tulane and Florida are playing. So that should be – I don't think that'll be great football. Ohio's up. Bobcats.
Hold on. Florida made a bowl game?
Yes, at 7-5 because they played that freshman quarterback at the end of the season. What's his name? Lagway or what's his name? Lagway. The Lagway kid. They started playing him, and he's the true freshman. He's good. I think he was the best true freshman quarterback in college football this year. Was that a crazy statement?
There's not too many that played really other than him. So
and he played in the SEC, 1,600 yards, 11 TDs, 7 interceptions. He only completed 193 passes for 157 attempts.
Speaking of this, South Carolina's quarterback, I think was a freshman, but I think he was a redshirt freshman.
Oh yeah, you're right. I think you're right. Sellers, what's his name?
Yeah, Smothers or something. Yeah, I think he's a redshirt freshman though.
Okay, but yeah, you're right. This is the last big weekend of pigskin in college football. It's going to be getting tossed. I'm excited. Do you have any bets? Are you any upsets, Trev? Anybody?
Let's go through real quick. I'm going to give me the lines. We'll do first tonight. I think Notre Dame's -6.5. Is that correct?
Notre Dame is a 6.5 point favorite. Yes.
Yeah. You know what? I know I shouldn't let my heart push my brain, but I let my penis control my brain for most of my 20s. So why not stop now with let my brain take the night off? I like IU getting the 6.5. I think IU pulled out the upset tonight. Fuck it.
Okay.
IU. That's for you, Scoots. I
think there's a good chance.
Take the points.
I think there's a good chance that IU covers in this game for sure. I'm not going to call the upset like Trevor. I'm staying away from the outright winner, but I would take the Indiana points in this game. Notre Dame's defense is just a little bit too potentially wishy-washy for me. And, they'll give up the big play if you let them. So I like the Indiana to cover. Notre Dame's defense is good, but I still have seen it. I've watched it have moments where it'll give up big plays, and Indiana's had big plays all year. You skip the Tulane, Florida.
I also watched a lot of
Florida's a 10-point favorite against Tulane. You'd like Tulane to cover that, or you think Florida's going to get the job done?
I take Florida to win, but take Tulane in the points.
Yeah, 10 points is just a little bit too many for a 9-win team. I think going against the Florida defense that looked like it was weird all year. But we'll move on to Saturday. We'll move on to Saturday. Starting off with the 12:00 game, we've got number 11 SMU playing number 6 Penn State. Penn State is an 8.5-point favorite. Sorry, Trevor, who do you like?
I like Penn State. I think they roll. SMU, sorry guys. I think Penn State rolls. I really don't think they cover. I think Penn State covers pretty comfortably in this game here. But I understand Franklin's record versus top 25. I understand Penn State's been kind of what Penn State is, but I just think they're going to send that pony to the glue factory.
I do too. I don't think the SMU offense is ready for the Penn State defensive line at all. I think there's going to be a lot of sacks in that game. Moving on to 4:00, we've got number 12 Clemson, with many people to believe to be the lucky end of the stick here, going to play number 5 Texas at 4 p.m. Texas is a 12-point favorite. This is the biggest line of all the starting games, I believe.
I can't think of a game where it has two coaches I just dislike more than this game. I just do not like Sark, and I don't like Dabo.
I think Clemson covers the 12 points here.
I think they cover the 12 too. I think Texas wins by 10.
I think Texas wins by 3. I think Texas wins a narrow, ugly game of football. In my opinion.
I agree with you. I think they would take Clemson in the points.
Take Clemson in the points for sure. Moving on to the 8:00 game, we've got number 9 Tennessee playing number 8 Ohio State. Ohio State is a 7-point favorite here. I like Tennessee to win this game.
It said Tennessee, which is if it was Ohio State, I'd be more confident.
No, it's in Ohio. It's in Ohio. It's in Ohio. It's at Ohio Stadium.
Oh, it is. Okay, I was thinking for some reason it was in Knoxville. I don't know why.
No, the higher seed gets the home game in the first round.
Oh man, take Ohio 7.5.
7 even.
7 even. Take lay the 7 Ohio State.
You think Ohio State covers the 7? Wow. So this is one with me and Trevor are on different sides of at the moment. He likes Ohio State to cover the 7. I like Tennessee outright. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if I trust the Will Howard kid, and I don't know if he's good enough. But
not probably. But
Nico, I'm tripping. I shouldn't have said that. I can't believe I said that about the Hagway kid. Nico Amalam Alaikum has definitely been the best true freshman. Sorry, I should not have said that. I don't even want to check the chat here. I should not have said that about the Florida kid. But Tennessee's definitely the I believe is the had the true freshman play. Not that matters.
Love for Arch Manning over here.
That is going to wrap up the college football playoff games. Bowl games won't stop. They'll go on to Monday. Coastal Carolina will play UTSA in the Myrtle Beach Bowl. Northern Illinois will play Fresno State in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. South Florida and San Jose.
Oh, those are both hosted then, because Coastal Carolina's in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, UTSA's got a home at bowl game at 6-6 against another 6-6 team.
Yeah,
Fresno State at 6-6. Fresno State at 6-6 is hosting Northern Illinois, who's 7-5.
Yeah, Idaho's an Idaho. I mean, those are two. That's like when Boise used to host the Humanitarian Bowl.
Yeah, that's. But there's all kinds of bowl games. Hopefully, we can get on there before Trevor, your microphone is doing it again. I can hear myself now. There we go.
Check.
Much better. Yeah, I was doing it again. I don't know, but let's get out of here, Trevor. We got to get out of here. Before we do so, I wanted to talk to you about Louisville, Florida State tomorrow, 2:00. What are you feeling, Trevor? How are you feeling going into this matchup? It's on the CW network. Does that mean anything to you?
No. Yeah, it means I don't have to stream the son of a bitch. Thank God.
The game's down in Florida. Tickets are going for $5 right now.
that much? Is that courtside?
Tickets as low as $5.
I know we're against the clock because you've got a job, I don't. But I'll say this real quick: Florida State won. I feel very confident. Confidence levels at an 8.5, almost a 9.
Wow.
Love the fact that I think Louisville. This could be looked at as a trap game, but with the week off, I think this is a nice win. The Florida State team that's 9-3 on paper, you could be a little nervous, but the 0-3 against any real competition. They do have a turn the ball over. Louisville has forced a lot of turnovers, but they can, and I think if they do, that's going to open up Louisville's offense in transition, which is what they're doing.
They can't shoot very, very well.
Florida State, it's not your typical Florida State team, but they're still gonna muck you up. They're still gonna play some solid defense. And they still have at least one or two, probably 6'10" black dudes that weigh 150 pounds.
They got three plus of them, all starters. Yes, 100%. That's their thing. They like the tall, athletic wing type of players with no skill. That seems to be their go-to. I'm just kidding. I'm saying that, and they're gonna come in here and be much more athletic than us. But they've got the Jameer Watkins kid. He's my only worry. He's a 6'7" guard. He's only shooting
that's the kid from BC.
He's shooting 29% from three this year, only 74% from the free throw line, but he's averaging 19 points. He's active he's an active defender. He can disrupt passing lanes. He can steal the ball. He's a pretty good rebounder for his position, not for his size. I think he need to be rebounding a little bit better for his size, but and he's going to take wild shots. He's got the green light to take shots. I think, it's a weird matchup because Chucky could struggle with him. And Chucky doesn't have the size to really stop to prevent him from having comfortable baskets at the rim if he does get to the rim. Now, Chucky can stop anybody from getting to the rim, in my opinion. But this is going to be a game where Terrence Edwards is going to spend some time on this Jameer Watkins kid too. So, they just got to be ready for him. He's got a green light. He can shoot, or he thinks he can shoot. He will shoot shots. He will try to get to the basket. He plays at a 3 level kind of a scoring mindset. And outside of that, they don't really do a whole lot for me. I think that they're not as good of a rebounding team as they should be for their size. I think the offensive glass will be something we should be able to capitalize on. I'm hoping, but outside of that, Trev, I'm not as confident as you, but I'm at probably about like a 7.5, 7.
No, Louisville plays the right basketball game the way they played, especially for the most part, despite the losses over the last week. With the week rest, there should be plenty of energy to go from start to finish in this game the way they want to play. And
there is one other thing I'll say. Sorry to interrupt. They're about 9 deep, 10 deep. They'll play 10 guys.
Yeah, Florida State always listen. This is a less talented version of Florida, but Florida State's always going to play the same way Florida State plays. They're always going to have the same kind of build of guys. The Isaac, you might not have, a kid like, an Isaac, whatever his name was at 6'10", the big kid, the big skinny kid that had potential. They've got some of those still in this team roster now. You said 3 of them. They're going to play.
Jonathan Isaac kid, yeah.
Jonathan Isaac, yeah. I mean, they've got guys at that build, maybe not his level of skill yet at this point, but they've got those kind of guys builds. I mean, it's Leonard Hamilton. He does all his recruiting like he's watching the air up there with that's how that's his team up there. Okay, I mean, it's what he does. Kevin Bacon.
That is all right. Well, I love the confidence from you, Trevor. You kind of making me feel a little bit better now too. So, I appreciate you breaking that down for me and how you're viewing that going into this game. Everyone, I do want to let you all know that me and Trevor we've been in some chats, we've been in some talks. We're going to find some more consistency, and we're going to find some more weekly uploads. We might look into some night show stuff, some post-game recap stuff. Trevor is going to probably do a non-fully sports-related segment as well, just because YouTube is YouTube and you can do those kind of things. But we're going to get a lot more content out there for you guys and just get more stuff out there. Trevor,
I have nothing else to do, people. I am single. I have 3 dogs, and I have a house I paid for already.
And you have an encyclopedia upstairs in that head. So we need to get you out in front of this camera and get you in front of this microphone as much as we possibly can. That's going to wrap up today's live show. Trevor, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for doing this with me yet again. Thank
Sorry
you for
my
listening.
kid. We'll get it fixed.
Listeners, no, we're all good. We just got to, figure out that port, maybe clean it up on the inside or something. Listeners, thank you for listening. Like, subscribe if you enjoy. Comment down below. Real Spiel Podcast on Instagram, Real Spiel Podcast on TikTok, Real Spiel Podcast on YouTube. No Twitter page because we're never going to have more followers than our personal accounts, so that kind of seems pointless. But yes, thank you. We'll be back early next week, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday potentially, and then we'll try to get in on the weekend, Friday or Saturday again. So thank you so much. That's going to wrap up today's show. Trevor, any last words before we end?